Hello viewers, it's Cynthia Michael from Screen bringing you my 679 podcast. This is my 679 podcast. Like always, I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly in case you don't understand me. Also, I try to do my best not to be hard during this art podcast recording as well, not to cause any art feedback as well. And finally, if you're under 18, this art podcast recording will have some adult language. But again, if you're under 18, this art podcast recording will have some adult language if you're under 18. Now, if you're over 18, then you get to watch this audio podcast recording. So anyway, let's get into the topic of this podcast. Recently, Elbaf for a while, Elbaf has been started. We're 3 chapters into Elbaf right now. So basically, this is my. So I decided to do my top predictions for what's going to happen in Elbaf. So basically my main prediction is at the end of this story arc, I feel like all the giants are Elbaf is going to. It's going all the warriors in the Elbaf is going to swear allegiance to Luffy and join the Grand Fleet. We already know that. Yes, Luffy has the new giant warrior pirates a part of his fleet, part of his grand fleet. But once Loki is taken down, once Loki is taken down, we see that Luffy seems like Loki is going to be the big bad. But we Oda could give us a swear with that. But most likely my main prediction is that all the giants will once 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 the threat of Elbaf is neutralized, thanks to the help of Luffy, all the warriors in the Elbaf will basically will swear allegiance to Luffy and and basically join the Grand Prix. So basically, I'm hoping that that all the giant warriors of Elbaf will basically end up joining Luffy's Grand Fleet at the end of the Elbaf story arc. Now, now, my other prediction is that that most likely is uh, most likely, Usopp might end up meeting his dad, but we don't know how far away he is from Elbas at the moment, because they have to deal with Baltimore, messing with Shake's territory. So basically, I'm hoping that that we get to see Usopp meet his dad, and get some closure, with Usopp and his father Yasa. And also, I'm hoping that Usopp will learn armament hockey as well. And I hope that Usopp learns some armament hockey, then some advanced armament hockey, and advanced optimization hockey. So basically, the most likely things might happen to Usa on this story arc of in the Elbaf story arc is that he might end up learning advanced observation hockey. He might end up learning armament hockey and then advanced armament hockey. So basically, most likely Usa's going to learn observation hockey, armament hockey, and maybe some advanced armament hockey during this Elbaf story arc. Now the other thing is, most likely is BB might show up at Elbaf. So basically, I don't know if she will show up at the end of Elbaf or somewhere in the middle of the Elbaf story arc. So basically, I'm hoping that BB does show up in the Elbaf somewhere soon, or maybe after after and whatnot. And so basically, I'm hoping that BB does show up in Elbaf and basically meets up with the Straw Hats at Elbaf somewhere. and also my other prediction is that that we will get more information from the boy century for all the books from O'Hara. We know that all the books from O'Hara were saved by Saul and took into Elbaf. So basically, most likely Robert's going to meet with Saul and basically, take care of all the books for how or store at Elbaf, and basically, we might get more information about the boy century in this story arc in this Elbaf story arc. Now, the other main thing I want to see happen in the Elbaf story arc is somebody finally explaining the true nature of Luffy's devil fruit to Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hat. Now, the Straw Hats just had so basically, the Straw Hats, Luffy and the Straw Hats have been cool this about ever since Luffy awakened his gear fifth. So basically, Luffy doesn't know that know the truth that his devil fruit is not it's not it's not the devil he always thought it was to be. So basically, I'm hoping that that little Vegapunk will finally tell him that you're. It turns out that you don't have the gum me devil fruit. You have the Nika fruit, the sun god fruit. So basically, I'm hoping that maybe little aka Vegapunk will find to sit Luffy down and the rest of the Straw Hats down and tell him that Luffy has the sun god fruit and basically explains that he does not have the gun fruit like he did like he's assumed to be. Maybe Shanks will show up and basically and basically and basically we were explaining that we'll find show up at Elbaf if he does show up in Elbaf. We'll explain that Luffy, you don't have the gun me devil fruit, you have the Nika fruit, basically the sun god fruit, and finally explain that to him and the rest of the Straw Hats. Finally, and basically that's where, and really put together that that's the reason why everybody's calling you the sun god and whatnot, because you have the sun god fruit, for God's sakes. Now, as for David Book fight against Shanks and Luffy's crew, that would be interesting. So basically, everybody's assumed that what about Shanks showing up back? If Shanks does get shows up in Elbaf, comes to Elbaf, after dealing with Bud the Mail, they might have a David Book a David David Book fight between the Straw Hats and the Redhead Pirate. So basically, that could be I kind of doubt this being a possibility, but you never know. Oda's been drawing his curves lately, so basically, I'm hoping that we get a David Book fight between, between Shanks' crew and Luffy's crew. Or most likely it's going to be over the ownership of the Straw Hat. So basically, if they're gonna do most likely if they're gonna do a David Book match between the Straw Hats and the Red-Headed Pirates, it's most likely it's gonna be over ownership of the Straw Hat that Shanks gave Luffy back when he's a kid. So basically, the final thing that I really want to I really want to happen is that once if the all the warriors are Elbaf does decide to all the warriors of Elbaf decide to join Luffy's Grand Fleet, that means that the world government will try to wipe out. This will be a big threat towards the world government power scale. So basically, the reason. So basically, the world government does not mess with Elbaf at all. So basically, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the threat of the no, it's the, all the giants are Elbaf were leading to Luffy enjoying his Grand Prix. I I don't want this to happen, but we know that Eam has his his ancient weapon. So basically, I hope that E does not use that ancient weapon to wipe out Elbaf. So basically, that would be some crazy stuff right there. Or after Luffy helps helps the giant take down Loki, whoever the bidder of this story of Elbaf is. They all the giants were loyalty to Luffy, and then all of a sudden, and the world government gets word about this, and basically Ian decides to send his ancient weapon to wipe out the island of Elbaf. That would be crazy, and the Straw Hat crew will be looking at this like, oh my god, just imagine. Just imagine, Ian sending his ancient weapon to wipe out the giant the island of giants in this one blast. So basically, I don't want this to happen, but I'm just gonna put this as a possibility. And one more thing I would add to is that I think that Uchi is due to needs it's gonna get a version of Force Hammer. Now this has been a major topic, a major topic for a while. I feel like Uchi does need a close range weapon to fight people with, so basically, his close range weapon has always been his hammer. So basically, I'm hoping that Usopp will get a hammer, close to Force Hammer and whatnot, and basically, maybe maybe the upgrade, maybe he can visit with his pop green, with his plants and whatnot. So basically, like he got his slingshot mixed with his plants and whatnot that he used to attack. So basically, we're hoping that Osha will get a forehammer that can use for his plants, his pop greens and whatnot. Can use better close range attack with his pop greens, with make combined with his hammer and whatnot. So anyway, these are my predictions for the story of Elbaf of One Piece. So, what do you guys think? Anyway, signing off from Screen Views. One.